Hey, good morning, everybody. It is great to be back with y'all again. It's time for the morning briefing right here on the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel. Good morning, everybody. It's another glorious day here in Southern California. I mean, I can feel the warmth of the sun on me. The ocean looks pretty calm, although there has been some little problems with that. Been some windy weather. We'll talk about that. There also seems to be just way too much anchovy. Boat pressures contributing to a little bit of down fishing. Overall, the picture is still really bright, but we need to dig in this morning on the morning briefing, and we intend to do just that. Great to be with you. I'm Phil Friedman, and I've got to say that out at the Orange County Fair, where I have been bartending, we're going to end up here. The Sunday is our last day. Well over a dozen people said hello and how much they're enjoying the podcast last night. And I want to thank each and every one of you who went out of your way to say hello. And although we were pretty busy and I didn't have a chance to chat with each and every one of you, I want you to know how deeply I appreciate that and how deeply I appreciate all of you making our stats soar up. Thousands of you tuning into the morning briefing, thousands of you watching all the other content we have. And next year, and even later this year, we've got a lot of surprises for you, even more as the channel will continue to grow. All right, September the 10th, Bass Pro Shops, Rancho Cucamonga. We'll be doing our podcast out there at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Certainly hope you can join us. It'll be really fun. I'll be out there early, 11 or so we can chat before the podcast starts. And as always, it's always great to meet each and every one of you. All right, let's get into this. First, let's start with what went on here last night. Well, presumably what went on, because when I got home, I had this decision to make. Do I go to bed or do I walk out here and see if there's Grunion all over the beach? Spectacle of nature, something that is so magnificent to see. And of course I went to bed. I was beat, sorry. So I went to bed. I don't know if there were any Grunion out here, but the second night of a scheduled 4-night Grunion run will take place this evening. It's a great way to show the kids nature, get them outdoors. Sometimes they show and sometimes they don't, but it's always a lot of fun. And of course, one of the benefits to surf fishermen is that a lot of fish will move up here on the beach, chasing all that Grunion. Sometimes they get full and don't bite that well. Other times we see some really spectacular fishing. All right, let's go down to Ensenada as normal and start out down there. Talk about my Pongero friends who continue to hammer out good catches on the kelps down there. They had a little bit of wind, and they're still going to have some wind here this morning. By the afternoon, it's going to mellow out, and then the rest of the week looks really nice in terms of our weather. So that is good, finally, because yesterday we had some really windy situations in many different areas. My friend Valentino's there, so I'm saying hello to him. Once again, some windy conditions, and that made finding kelps more difficult, made things in general more difficult. But still, the boys down there still doing pretty darn well. Trolling Mad Mac lures is a great way to catch the bluefin tuna. Keeping your eyes peeled for a kelp is a good way to catch what is still some remarkably big kelp patty yellowtail. I mean, a lot of it is 8 to 15 pounds. There's some boats that had straight 15, 18 pound stuff with fish bigger than that. And you still do see some of that 5-pound yellowtail, but it's really mostly nice grade, and that is good to see. Dorado, anywhere from 5 to 20 pounds. The yellowfin tuna that we're seeing down there in Ensenada area are smaller, like 5 to 10, with an occasional bigger fish mixed in. So now we move out to the San Diego fleet. Some of those guys are fishing that same area down there around Ensenada. 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. boats are fishing closer to home, not getting down quite that far. And the scores are mixed. I mean, some guys really got all over the fish and had huge scores. Other guys struggled a little bit more. Now, what is it? That's the question. Is it just a little bit of a lull in the bite? Is it the full moon? Is it too much bait? There's just copious amounts of anchovies in so many areas, and the fish just seem to be on that anchovy. They seem to be full. They just don't seem to be eager to bite anything else. That's on some kelp, some areas of fish. So once again, we'll continue to watch it and see what happens. Some of the scores from down below, we have the Poseidon starting out on the first of a 4-day trip. Limits of yellowtail, limits of Dorado. Huge score for them. They found a kelp that really wanted to bite, in the fish were beautiful grade. Lots of 15 to 18 pound yellowtail coming off that one. The Ranger 85 back in from a 3.5-day trip. Scott Buchert was not on that trip, but Scott is a regular deckhand on there. Many of you know him. They had 300 yellowtail, 94 Dorado, 7 bluefin tuna, 5 yellowfin tuna for 20 guys. Doesn't get a whole heck of a lot much better than that. The Grande fishing that, morning 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. or 5 a.m. to 5 p.m., whatever they fish. Same thing on the San Diego. 36 guys on the Grande, 28 Dorado, 5 yellowtail. San Diego, 31 yellowtail, 9 Dorado. On the San Diego, they said they were finding lots of fish, seeing lots of fish, but they're trying to find fish that are not full of bait or not on the bait, because when they're on that anchovy, they seem reluctant to want to bite. Speaking of Dorado, this is some footage shot out of C4 Sport Fishing on board the Cortez, and just look at the flatheads. My God, that is a beautiful sight. Great footage and really, really exciting stuff. And we have seen a lot of tropical and subtropical fish move up into the area. I still think the light switch has yet to go on, and right now, as you can hear by some of those scores, it's a little bit more iffy. So remember, this is what we're talking about, okay? I'm talking about fluorocarbon. Some of you are at home going, what do I need fluorocarbon for with 100 plus yellows and 100 plus Dorado? They're eating everything you throw at them. And then you get into a situation like we had on the San Diego and the Grande, where perhaps that fluoro will give you a big advantage. So 30 to 40 pound fluoro, 1.0 to 2.0 size hooks. Sometimes you don't need it. Sometimes you can go to a bigger hook, but just keep your game intact. It's such a good way to practice being consistent, and over time, it'll get you a lot more bites. And choose a really good hot bait. www.optionusa.com, and make sure you put in FA at checkout to get a free gift and a handwritten note from my friend Greg Brown. All those things will really make a difference. And we're seeing this Dorado all the way up into this neck of the woods, and even north of the Santa Monica Bay, there's been some kelps holding copious amounts of Dorado. And the common denominator lately has been they don't want to bite. It's been a lot more difficult. The Fury, nice shot for them, 12 guys, and it was novice anglers, so they had to teach these guys. 60 yellowtail, 20 Dorado, 7 yellowfin tuna out of Dana War Sport Fishing. Nothing wrong with that kind of a score. And our 3/4 day fleet here, local boats, have been offshore running around. It's been tough. They're on a time clock. They really are. So they have that constraint on them. And then you have fish that are not biting all that well. So it's been very tough in a lot of cases. Western Pride did a 3/4 day offshore trip out of Davies Locker yesterday. They ended up with 5 Dorado for their efforts. Also out was the Native Sun, and they worked hard. I mean, they worked really hard. Finally found a kelp loaded with Dorado that just wanted to tease, didn't want to bite. Really bugs the heck out of you. You saw a lot of bluefin around, didn't want to bite. Went to the Catalina Island, where fishing has been tough all year long, and it's remaining that way. Picked some bonita and that kind of thing. And then on the way home, got a trollfish, one nice bluefin tuna. But overall, that's been a tougher bite, no question about that. Still need to bring the heavy tackle, because you never know when this is going to turn on. If you don't have it, I wouldn't recommend renting it right now if you're on a trip like that. But once again, if you've got a 2-speed reel with 100 pound, bring it. And especially if you're on any kind of a multi-day trip, day and a half and above, bring it. You're going to run into it and need it. And I can't wait to get some more details on the Amigo trip, because we have an Amigo trip coming up August the 31st. A couple spots available on that. And I can't wait to get back out there with Mark Paisano Jr. and the great crew on the Amigo. Have so much fun with them. We have had so many memorable trips, and we've got all these different options available. And who knows by the end of the month what kind of options we will have. Incidentally, August the 19th, Malihini trip with Bill Wilkerson, H&M Landing. Just go to the show description today. There's a link there. Click on it, book the trip, and we'll see you down there on Friday. That will be a week from today. Should be a lot of fun. So overall, the offshore thing is still red hot when you find the right kelp, but it can be very difficult. Chef Jason was out on the El Dorado the other day, and he graces our cover with that nice big beautiful Dorado that they caught. But fishing was tough on that trip, as it has been on many others, and then others have it wide open. I know on the Thunderbird, And you know how I feel about Jeff Markland and what a capable, great fisherman he is. He had decent fishing yesterday. He was up over, I think, 50 mixed, but it was a little bit more difficult. And this wind yesterday afternoon really put the kibosh on any chance that you might have had to catch a fish. It looks to me, with the exception of the Channel Islands, like the wind will get out of the picture, and that is certainly really great news. Islands down there, Todos Santos and Barracuda and Yellowtail up there at the Coronado Islands. Yellows biting pretty well for the boats that are fishing there. San Clemente Island, Catalina Island, we'll just bunch them all together. Not many guys are fishing it right now. Clemente, yellows, not a lot of sea lions. Catalina, I've already mentioned, it's been tough all year. It's remaining that way. Bonita, Barracuda, bass, but just a little bit, and sea lions there driving you crazy. The weather out there at SBI, Santa Barbara Island, and Nick should calm down. Up there in the Channel Islands, we've got some wind in and out of the counts, or in and out of our days, coming days. So some days it's going to be okay, other days not so bad. The Mirage on the night sea bass count the other day had double digits on the sea bass. 22 guys had 11 barracuda and a halibut and a bunch of rockfish yesterday, and also the Coral Sea up there out of Santa Barbara with limits of rockfish on the coastal regions. We are seeing okay fishing, nothing to write home about. Some bass down there in Ensenada, San Diego, all the way up the coast, picking at some sand and calico bass. Light line is the way you're going to get a bite fishing calico bass, even sand bass. You go down to 12 pound and you've got a real chance to catch them. 12 to 15 pound fluorocarbon, a good hot anchovy if you can get it, and that will work really, really well. And surf fishing, still pretty good. You know, we have this Grunion run, as I mentioned to you. Sometimes Grunion will fill up the little devils that are on the beach and you can't get a bite. But other times it's brought in halibut and other predators, match the hatch, a lucky craft will work really good. Catch some big yellowfin croaker on those lucky crafts, as well as some nice halibut. So we'll continue to watch that for you very, very closely. Once again, don't forget how important it is to get tough in your fishing when fishing gets a little bit more difficult. That's why we talk fluorocarbon, choosing a good hot bait, smaller hooks, all those things can come into play to help you a lot. By the way, I forgot to mention John. He's a longtime resident here at Surfside, and he sent me a video. I have been unable to download it. I don't know if it's the format or what, but he said that the ocean literally changed colors as if it were a red tide, or maybe it was a red tide. And this was a couple days ago. And while the ocean was changing color, there was a massive amount of pelicans hitting the water, just really chewing up the water. John said he'd never seen anything like it in all the years he's lived here, so hopefully I'll get that video to work. In that Dorado video that I shared with you is truly, truly spectacular. September the 10th, Bass Pro Shops. We're going to have a big crowd out there. Can't wait to do that. Looking forward to being able to spend some time with you before the podcast and after. I'll be available to chat with you, and I'm looking forward to that. And of course, Friday, August the 19th on the Malihini, August the 31st on board the Amigo, and then two final two-day trips on the Red Hot Pride out of 22nd Street Landing in beautiful San Pedro, California. Hey, thanks again, everybody. Always a pleasure to spend time with you. I'll see you again really, really soon. Have a wonderful weekend and catch lots of fish.